The only other movie that I watched this week, which we have all seen, and I think will probably spark a way larger conversation than I thought it would, is Happy Gilmore 2, which is out on Netflix. I think to start, we should just all say what we would give it, and then we can talk about it. But like for me as well, it was a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it, but I have issues with it. Yeah. With that being said, I think it's the best thing Adam Sandler has done in a while. It's certainly the best Netflix thing that he's done. Outside of his stand-up specials, if you've seen those on there. And I have not, I will also say, I have not watched every single Adam Sandler Netflix movie, but I've seen most of them. And most of them are pretty terrible. The only one that I thought was okay was the Halloween one. The Hubie Halloween. I thought that was okay. That made me laugh. But it's very low brow. Like the bar is really low. So like for this to make it over that bar, it wasn't that big of a deal, but we'll get into it. But for me, it was a 7 out of 10. What was it for you, Dan?
Probably like a 6. Before we get too much into it, like I just really feel like it's 2 movies in one. And part of it I really liked and part of it I really hated. And I just kind of wanted it to be over at a certain point. You know, like it seemed maybe a little too long for what it was.
For context, it's almost 2 hours. And the original movie is 90 minutes.
I don't mind 2-hour movies these days. I kind of expect that.
Comedies, I don't think
comedies
need 2 hours.
Can do, and the way this one did it, I didn't like it. Because it was literally like 2 different movies at one. There's a part where like the first part stops and the second part begins, and I just was like not interested anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. People are bitching about like the cameos and stuff, but it's like, have you ever seen an Adam Sandler movie, dude? Like especially recently.
You know, what I'll say about that too is like that was probably the biggest thing that I saw people bitching about, and now having seen the movie, like. All the cameos, they're not very long.
Very few people overstay their welcome in terms of like cameos.
I wouldn't say anybody really overstays their welcome.
There's a couple of strange ones, but in particular, but I never felt like they were ruining the movie by having people I recognize from other places in it.
No, I never did either.
Yeah. So, and then another thing we'll get into in a little bit after Matt, but like, there's a little too much callbacks to the first movie.
We'll talk about that.
Go ahead.
What about you, Matt?
I'll split the difference and I'll go 6.5 between the two of y'all.
Okay.
I feel the same way. Like it wasn't. I've seen bad movies this year, and I definitely don't think it's the worst movie I've seen.
No.
Like I could probably put it in again and just rewatch it. Like it's not bad in that aspect, but
it's very watchable.
There are just some things that's kind of like, okay, we're doing this again. Like, why are we doing this again? Like, what are we talking about? And without getting into much of it, but until we get into it, like Dan was saying, it becomes 2 movies, and the second half just kind of took me out of it, but I was still willing to watch it because I've essentially watched everything Adam Sandler's done. And
I have as well, pretty much. Yeah.
I don't expect, and I hate to say it like this and be mean, I don't expect a lot out of an Adam Sandler
My
movie.
expectations for this were very low and very tempered because even though it's like, I've always wanted to see, like, I've always wondered, like, what would a sequel to Happy Gilmore be?
Yeah.
And for him to finally be like, all right, fine, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And I will say, like, it's also a movie where you can very clearly tell they had way more fun making the movie than the movie actually is.
Oh, yeah,
like,
for sure.
They had a fucking blast making this movie and doing some of the stuff they did, bringing some of these people back. Like, you can tell, I'd say the person that's having the most fun in this movie by far is Shooter.
Yeah,
Christopher McDonald. Like he is having a fucking blast
with him.
I like what they did too. Like that's the thing too is like also I'll say like, this we're gonna spoil this movie because there's no way to talk about it without.
I don't think anything we like. Yeah, we're gonna
trailers
spoil
don't
it.
Tell you what the story is at all.
No.
Which was smart.
Yeah.
But like I will say like, and that was for me is like the first hour of this movie. If it would have maintained that level, I would easily tell you it's the best thing he's done in 20 years. Like I really was with it. It's dark in a way, but it's still a comedy. Like it makes sense for what they did. I've seen some people that are upset about that. So again, we're going heavy spoilers, but it picks up right after the events of the first movie. They kind of go through and like he continued his career for a little while. He won some more trophies. He had 5 kids.
He basically did really well. He had a great career.
He did really well. He had a pretty good career. And then he has an accident where he accidentally killed his wife because he got married to the chick from the first movie. And it's an accident, but that turns him into being an alcoholic, which it takes like an oddly dark comedic turn, I thought, but like it works.
You know what? It worked for a little bit, but I found myself not liking it after a point when everything he ever touched was a flask. Like they got a little out of control. That joke into the ground constantly over and over. I said, I could have seen
cell phone.
I could have seen that being a joke when he got sober and she was removing the stuff from the house.
Right.
And him being like the remote, the clock, like that would have been funny because you could have picked random stupid shit around the house.
Yeah.
But when a golf ball, his phone, like it got out of control.
It did get out of control.
So I was like, this isn't a joke. It's sad. And the fact that like every time you reference it, I'm not laughing. It's sad.
No.
And I get that you're trying to make me feel bad for him, but it's sad.
I will also preface this by saying the guy, the actor that plays the villain in this movie, like the main villain, I do not like at all.
No,
I've not liked him in other shit. And when he showed up, I know his character is supposed to be playing a douchebag, but I just don't like that guy at all. So when he showed up, I was one of those kind of things like, oh, that dude's in this movie. Great. That kind of brought me down on it. But like I said, the first half of it's very good. It's very decent. I laughed a lot. I laughed through the whole thing. That's the best thing I can say about it. I laughed through the entire movie. Like there was never like some of it wore a little thin, but I still had a good time.
Yeah. I just really wish that like I liked the plot of him having to go back to golf to get money to like help pay for his daughter to go to school.
There's a way they could have done that much better.
But the thing is, like watching him get sober and train and get back to form and all that stuff. I would have liked it to parallel the first movie where like he gets into tournaments again and he finishes 51st and then he finishes 40th.
And that's really where it seemed like it was going.
It would have felt better to me that like he's overcoming this tragedy that he caused for the betterment of his family. But then it becomes all about one tournament,
maxi golf,
where he starts drinking again so that he can compete against this crazy version of golf where they figured out how to make people drive like him by cutting a ligament. Like the explanation they have to go through
is terrible.
To do this, it turns it into, it's not for Happy Gilmore, for all of its faults, is grounded in reality.
Yeah, this is not.
It loses itself. And
it does.
I've said this to a lot of people and very few people get the reference, but I told Kyle, I told Matt, I told a couple other friends, like, as someone who loved watching Caddyshack all the time, I don't think a lot of people realize there's a Caddyshack 2. This is what that is to that movie. Caddyshack 2 is a fucking insane movie that goes off the rails. And this is what happens here. To the point where the last 45 minutes of this movie, I really could give a shit what happens.
Yeah, they basically get into that tournament where they're playing against those pro level people for the maxi golf thing.
Becky Lynch?
Yeah,
Becky
Lynch is one of them.
That was a weird cameo.
She was a weirder cameo, but like none of the cameos really bothered me in the movie, and like I enjoyed them. I think some of the better ones, like Eminem, was probably one of my favorites.
Can I say Bad Bunny was my absolute favorite?
He was very good too.
He was very good in it too. I also like, even though you knew, it always amazes me when he will call, because like Steve Buscemi is a pretty good, like if you ever watch a dramatic movie with him, he's very good.
Oh yeah.
So it almost seems like it must be a running joke between those guys of like, what fucking dumb shit thing I'm going to have you do in this one? And in this one, he has a fascination with peeing in mailboxes.
I thought like having John Daly be the weird dude who just kind of like lives in this house. Great. Like if you know who John Daly is in real life, like it's perfect.
I enjoyed that too. I thought the stuff they did with Ben Stiller was fine with bringing Hal back.
There might have been too much of it.
It might have gone too far, but it didn't bother me too much.
And again, the biggest problem this movie has is it either thinks that you haven't seen the first movie ever, or that you don't remember any part of it. Because I tell you what, guys, we're going to show you clips of the first movie in this movie a couple times. It's like we all remember we all remember all this stuff, and they do it for everybody. They bring back the IRS guy as a lawyer,
and then they go show the
IRS guy, and then they throw
you the guy that threw me through the glass pane window, and then they show that. Like that was my biggest issue. Is like you can have those callback jokes, and that's fine. But you don't have to insult the audience by having to show them that clip every time, because I would argue Happy Gilmore is one of the most quotable and memorable movies of the 90s, and most people that like or have a love for that movie know all of it by heart. They don't need to see those scenes played out again.
Don't need any of it.
And that seemed like a Netflix decision to do that more than a decision of Sandler.
But they do callbacks for everything, like his date with her at the ice rink.
Yeah.
The first time when he's driving the stuff off of the yard, he hits that lady in the head. Like they just like anytime they felt like they could bring a clip in, they just did it.
They would do it, yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, man.
Well, and I told you, I rewatched the original one on Thursday. I didn't have to, but I wanted to because it's been a couple years since I've watched it. But boy, after watching, I really didn't have to. So, because they basically had to play those clips every fucking time. So, but like I said, I mean, it was always going to be a Netflix Adam Sandler movie at the end of the day, and it is still a Netflix Adam Sandler movie at the end of the day, but I do think it's one of the better ones that he's done. But like I said, if it like I think I told you, like I don't know if I definitely wouldn't watch it again right away. Like if I was flipping around or something and it was on, I'd probably watch it, but it's not at that level of the original, and it never was going to be. But I look at like for legacy sequels that we've gotten, and all of them have been pretty bad. Like Anchorman 2, not very good. Dumb and Dumber 2. Does anybody even remember that they did that? No.
Sucks.
There's one other one I keep forgetting that they did. All of those legacy sequels have always been bad for these comedies, and I feel like this is probably the best attempt that anybody's made to do one, but it still unfortunately falls short. So I didn't even bother that like two of his real life daughters have prominent roles in this.
They're both good.
And they're fine. Yeah, they're decent actresses. His wife.
They do well.
They all were fine. Yeah. Like none of that took me out of the movie. Like none of the performances took me out of the movie. But like I will say, like as I know that you laughed at it. I know a lot of people laughed at it, but your buddy Rob Schneider showing up, that dude's a piece of shit. Like
he is, but like
we talk
that's a huge thing from the 90s.
I get it, and we talk a lot about like separating the person from acting and stuff. My problem is he doesn't separate himself from that. He's a fucking psychopath now. And it's just like for a 2-second joke, I could have done without. You could have figured out some other dumbass character to come back from another movie and shown up and done something. Could have had Shaq come in there and throw a dude over a house.
You guys save him for Grown Ups 3, man.
I know, but like, you know, so there's that. And then I don't know if we mentioned it, but like the Shooter McGavin like redemption arc is great.
Yeah, like that was the other surprising part of the movie.
You're primed to think, oh, he's going to come back and be the villain again, and then he's not. And it was great.
They have a very funny fight scene in a graveyard where they keep showing like the dead characters of the movie. And I thought all of that sequence was very well done. And then when it kind of subverted that expectation of just like, all right, we've had it out. Why don't we work together? Because this maxi golf thing sucks.
We don't have to hate each other. Right.
Yeah. And I actually enjoyed that more because I expected him to be the villain of this movie.
Yeah, and I think everybody does, because like even the promos, even the Subway commercials, you're primed to think he's the bad guy in the movie.
Yeah.
And when he wasn't, I was like, I really liked that. I thought that was a great change.
It did a good job of subverting that. Yeah. So like that was a good move, I think.
I hated like the conclusion of the movie where like we're playing, grown up mini golf on this tilting table bullshit.
Yeah.
And the stakes of I have to raise $300,000 for her to go to school just comes down to if I make a single putt, you're going to pay for this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. And the guy goes, okay, yeah. The guy's a piece of shit. Are you guaranteed to get any of that? No.
Right.
That's why I would have preferred like he's got to work his way back on the tour. And you could have had
a real tournament.
We haven't talked about like Haley Joel Osment is like the villain golf dude.
Yeah.
Like great, because like you would never think that as like a guy, but that could have been on the pro golf tour where maybe they could have done where they figured out how to make people drive like him. And then the point is he has to beat those guys because he makes a point to say later, like, it's not because of my back, it's because of my rage. That's how I can do this. So that could have been the whole point of the movie was him having to work his way up against against these golfers and stuff and win the thing legitimately and then win the jacket. Or maybe they have a doubles match and he has to pair up with Shooter against this guy and some other guy. That would have been a hell of a lot more fun and parallel to the first movie than just careening into a ditch. And
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a weird feeling as you're watching it.
Like I enjoyed it, but like I oddly have some disappointment at the same time. But like it's.
I also thought there are too many professional golfers in this movie, given too much to do.
I
don't care that they're in the movie. Like during the scene where they're eating in the clubhouse, great.
That was the level they should have been in the movie.
But when we get current pro golfers to like have to play in this tournament with him, we're losing the plot here. This is about Happy Gilmore, not Brooks Koepka fucking playing giant mini golf on a fucking ice field. Like it was dumb.
I did like the joke of that one guy being named Screech, though.
That was great. Like
that was a good joke. Like, there are times where it's just like that's really fucking funny.
Yeah, but there's a much better movie that could have existed.
Where I think people would have been happier with it than what we got.
Very much,
but I still had a good time with it. So